Hi everybody and welcome back to Relax My Dog. Today me and Milo are going to be talking about a skill that most dogs or all dogs need to know about, and that is how to properly greet guests. Whether you're having friends and family over or you're walking around the park and people approach you because you have a dog, your dog needs to know how to properly approach these people. So today we're going to be talking about sort of a step-by-step guide on how to teach them this, starting from in the home. Now before we do get started, definitely do go down below to the comments and let me know, what is your dog's favourite place to go for a walk? Do they prefer to go to the park? Do they prefer to go to the beach? Do they prefer to go to a forest? Let me know down below in the comments, and why you think that's your dog's favourite place. Do they like going in the water? Do they like finding sticks? Because I know Milo is a huge fan of sticks. But for now, we're just going to get started, and obviously we're going to be starting off with how your dog should properly greet somebody in your home. So obviously you're going to have to start off by teaching your dog on how to properly greet you as their owner whenever you come home from being at work, being out, just in generally being out of the house. You need to be able to teach your dog how they should properly be greeting you. The first method to do this is to teach your dog how to sit and how to stay, because this method will mean that they don't approach you immediately, they sort of stay where they need to be. Now it might be a good idea to tell your dog to sit and stay when you're with them, then go out of the house and quickly come back in and make sure they've stayed in that position. This will just make it a lot easier for your dog to learn how to approach somebody. Or if you do have multiple members in your family, you can actually do it where somebody's inside that tells your dog to sit and stay, and then whenever the person comes in, they are staying in that position. And when you do approach your dog, don't make it really lively, don't make it really loud for your dog. Just make sure you're stroking them calmly and speaking to them in a nice calm voice. Otherwise, if you start going in there and going shouting and being very excited with your dog is going to show that back to you, and it might take longer for them to learn how to greet you properly. Now do remember that this does need to be a daily occurrence. This isn't something that your dog will learn immediately. So it is important to train them straight away when they are a puppy, because then it will just be a lot easier when they do get older. And obviously, whenever they do something right, definitely do praise them. Now obviously the next step from this one is how to greet visitors, so people they might not have met before, etc. Now it's important to start small with a number of guests rather than having a full party load of people. Have one or two guests to come over just to make it a little bit less daunting for your dog, because I'm sure you'll all agree whenever there's multiple people, sometimes dogs can either get really excited or they can just get completely overwhelmed by everybody they need to say hi to. Now if you can do this, make sure you're trying to get your friend to practice with you. So whenever the doorbell rings or there is a knock at the door, make sure you tell your dog to sit and stay, and make sure you're staying with them until they learn they need to stay where they are. And it's important to not open your door until your dog has sat patiently. Remember, it doesn't matter how long it takes, it is going to be a long process, because a lot of the time it does take a long time for your dog to learn this skill, but eventually they will get the hang of it. And then obviously whenever your friend does come in and the dog has stayed patiently, then your friend can stroke them and just show them a good hello. But obviously make sure you're doing it as calm as possible. Also, if it is a new visitor, make sure you give your dog some time to give them a little bit of a sniff so they can get used to them being around the house, or just in generally so they can learn a little bit more about this new person in the house. That'll make them a lot more calm. Now obviously these steps seem pretty simple, and they are pretty simple steps, but it's definitely something that you need to be doing all of the time to make sure your dog is fully understanding what they need to do to greet somebody. And as well as greeting somebody in your house, you also need to make sure your dog knows how to properly greet somebody when out on a walk. Obviously if you're walking around a park and somebody sees you have a dog, they might get excited themselves and try and approach you and try and stroke your dog. So you obviously need to make sure your dog knows how to handle that. They need to know to sit still and to not jump up at the person, because I know when I've gone on walks multiple times with Milo and other dogs approaching me, they can get really excited and they'll start to jump up. Whereas you've got to remember that some people might be really scared of dogs, so make sure you are trying to keep your dog calm whenever somebody does approach them. And this sort of method will really help. For example, if you are a bit nervous about taking your dog out for walks because he might go up to people and he might jump up at them, definitely do keep them on a lead until they have learned a proper lesson in terms of, if somebody does approach them, put them on the lead and tell them to sit and let the other person stroke them. Eventually they will learn that whenever they approach somebody, they need to sit down and be calm. And that is pretty much it for how to teach your dog to greet somebody properly. Like I say, it is quite simple, but definitely do keep up on top of it, and eventually your dog will know how to greet everybody they see in the street, everybody that comes round to their house, they'll know how to greet them properly. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to enter our little t-shirt giveaway that look like this. All you need to do is pop over to Instagram, post a picture of your dog and tag us at @RelaxMyDog, and you have therefore entered. It really is that simple. I'm really excited to see all your guys' pictures over on Instagram. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment if you haven't already about where your dog's favourite place is to go for walks, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and you would like to. And me and Miley here will see you next week for next week's video. Bye.